Welcome to a bone-chilling journey into the heart of darkness. Prepare to be engulfed in a tale of terror as we delve into the harrowing horrors of a summer night storm. Witness the unexplainable, the unsettling, as we unravel three stories that will send shivers down your spine. Brace yourselves, for this is a night you will never forget. Welcome to Stormy Night Horror Stories. It was a sweltering summer night, the air heavy with humidity and the promise of an impending storm. Seeking respite from the suffocating heat, I decided to take a solitary stroll through the neighborhood. Little did I know that this seemingly ordinary summer night would plunge me into a nightmarish encounter I would never forget. As I walked along the dimly lit streets, the world around me transformed. The familiar houses and trees took on distorted shapes, their shadows dancing menacingly on the pavement. The usual sounds of chirping crickets and rustling leaves were replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder. Unease settled in my gut as I wandered deeper into the darkness. The streetlights flickered sporadically, casting an unsettling strobe-like effect on my surroundings. The air became charged with an electric energy, and a sense of being watched washed over me, causing my skin to prickle with unease. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, a hunched silhouette, barely discernible in the gloom. My heart quickened its pace as I strained to make out the person's features, but they remained obscured by darkness. Something about their presence sent a chill down my spine, a warning from deep within my instincts. I picked up my pace, attempting to distance myself from the enigmatic figure. But with each step, their presence seemed to grow closer, their footsteps echoing ominously behind me. Panic gripped me, urging me to run, but an invisible force seemed to hold me in place, entangled in the horror unfolding around me. As the thunder roared above, the storm unleashed its fury, drenching me in an onslaught of rain. Visibility diminished further, the world reduced to a haze of wet asphalt and blurred streetlights. Fear pulsed through my veins, fueled by the relentless pursuit of the shadowy figure behind me. In a desperate attempt to escape, I veered into an alleyway, hoping to lose my pursuer in its labyrinthine twists and turns. But as I pressed deeper into the darkness, the alley seemed to stretch endlessly, the walls closing in on me with an oppressive force. I could feel their presence drawing nearer, their breath hot on my neck. With a burst of adrenaline, I burst out onto a deserted street, gasping for breath. But relief was short-lived, for the figure materialized before me, its malevolent eyes gleaming in the faint glow of a flickering lamppost. A wicked smile spread across its face, a grin that promised unimaginable horrors. Frozen in terror, I watched as the figure advanced, its movements contorted and unnatural. My screams echoed into the night, drowned out by the crashing thunder and pouring rain. Darkness enveloped me, and I resigned myself to a fate shrouded in the macabre. But as the figure drew closer, a flash of lightning illuminated its features, an abomination of twisted limbs and distorted features that defied comprehension. With a final surge of adrenaline, I broke free from my paralysis, sprinting through the rain-soaked streets, praying for escape from this living nightmare. I reached the safety of my home, drenched and trembling, but forever scarred by the horrors I had witnessed. That summer night had shattered my sense of security, leaving me with a deep-rooted fear of the dark and a chilling awareness of the unimaginable terrors that can lurk within the seemingly ordinary fabric of reality. The summer sun beat down upon me as I embarked on a hiking trip through a remote, picturesque trail. The scent of fresh pine and the symphony of nature filled the air, promising a serene adventure amidst the wilderness. Little did I know that this idyllic excursion would turn into a nightmarish journey. As I ventured deeper into the trail, the sky grew ominously dark. Dark clouds gathered with an unsettling intensity, blotting out the sun and casting an eerie gloom over the landscape. A distant rumble of thunder echoed through the mountains, carrying with it a foreboding warning that nature's fury was about to be unleashed. Ignoring the signs, I pressed on, driven by a desire to conquer the untamed terrain. But the air grew thick with an electric charge, raising the hair on the back of my neck. Unease settled upon me, as if the very wilderness itself knew of the impending terror that awaited. As the first droplets of rain fell, I quickened my pace, determined to reach the safety of a nearby shelter. But the storm had other plans. The heavens opened up, releasing a deluge that transformed the trail into a treacherous river of mud. The rain beat against me, soaking me to the bone, and the wind howled through the trees, its mournful cries blending with the crashing thunder. I sought refuge beneath the shelter of a gnarled tree, its branches contorted like skeletal fingers. But the storm raged on, its intensity unabated. Flashes of lightning illuminated the surroundings, casting twisted shadows that seemed to dance and taunt me. A sense of isolation settled upon me as the storm raged on. I was alone, trapped in the heart of nature's wrath. The forest transformed into a sinister labyrinth, each tree morphing into a haunting specter that whispered tales of ancient horrors. Every step I took felt weighted with dread, as if the very ground beneath me sought to devour my every movement. In the midst of the tempest, I stumbled upon a dilapidated cabin, its facade weathered and worn by time. Desperation drove me inside, seeking shelter from the relentless storm. But the cabin exuded an eerie energy, a palpable sense of unease that sent a shiver down my spine. As I huddled within the cabin's decaying walls, a feeling of being watched settled upon me. The wind howled outside, carrying with it whispers that seemed to slither through the cracks in the woodwork. The air grew thick with a malevolent presence, and the walls seemed to close in, suffocating me with their unspoken secrets. Suddenly, a sharp gust of wind extinguished the flickering candle that had provided me with a modicum of light. Darkness engulfed the cabin, leaving me defenseless against the unseen horrors that lurked within. In the blackness, I heard it, the sound of footsteps, slow and deliberate, drawing closer with each passing second. Panic gripped me, and I retreated into a corner, my heart pounding within my chest. The footsteps grew louder, echoing through the cabin, filling the air with a haunting cadence. Just as I believed myself to be consumed by the encroaching darkness, the storm outside subsided, and dawn's light crept through the cracks in the cabin's walls. With trepidation, I ventured outside, leaving behind the malevolence that had haunted the night. To this day, the memory of that hiking trip remains etched in my mind, a chilling reminder of the terror that can be unleashed by nature's wrath and the unfathomable horrors that await those who venture into the heart of the storm. The relentless rain pounded against the windows, the droplets a ceaseless barrage that mirrored the tumult within my mind. I sat alone in the dimly lit living room, my faithful companion, a black Labrador named Max, curled up at my feet. The summer night storm raged outside, its fury mirrored in the unease that gripped me. Max, usually calm and docile, paced restlessly, his tail tucked between his legs. His ears twitched with every thunderous clap, his eyes wide with a primal fear that mirrored my own. The bond between us was unbreakable, but on that fateful night, it seemed as if we were prisoners within the walls of our own terror. As the storm intensified, a subtle shift occurred. A sense of unease washed over me, crawling beneath my skin like a horde of tiny insects. I glanced at Max, seeking solace in his presence, but his anxious gaze reflected the growing darkness that seeped into the room. Suddenly, a flash of lightning illuminated the surroundings, casting sinister shadows against the walls. Max's growl pierced the air, his hackles raised as he stared at a corner of the room. My heart pounded within my chest, a primal instinct warning me of the impending horror that lurked within the storm's embrace. I followed Max's gaze, my breath catching in my throat. In the flickering light, I caught a glimpse of movement, an amorphous shape that writhed and twisted, blending with the darkness. A knot tightened in my stomach as I realized it was no ordinary storm that raged outside. It was something far more sinister, something that had awoken a dormant evil within our midst. Max barked, his voice a desperate plea for us to flee. But I remained frozen, unable to tear my eyes away from the shapeless form that slithered towards us. The air grew heavy, suffused with a malevolence that clung to my skin like a suffocating shroud. As the entity closed in, Max lunged forward, teeth bared in a valiant act of defense. But his attack was futile, his jaws passing through the ethereal form as if it were nothing but smoke. The entity retaliated, its tendrils lashing out, wrapping around Max's body. A heart-wrenching yelp filled the room as Max was dragged into the abyss. Terror surged through me, propelling me to my feet. I stumbled towards the front door, the storm's chaos mirroring the chaos within my mind. Rain lashed against my face, mingling with my tears as I sprinted into the night, leaving behind the remains of my once loyal companion. To this day, the memory of that summer night storm haunts me. Max's sacrifice serves as a chilling reminder that evil can manifest in the most unexpected of forms, lurking in the darkness that intertwines with nature's fury. And as I endure subsequent storms, I can't help but feel Max's presence, a spectral guardian warning me of the terrors that await in the tempest.